American Ultra stars Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart. They are a pair of stoners. He gets by on his days by working at a convenience store. She works at a bail bondsman's place. They're happy, they're in love. It's a pretty normal relationship. Until Jesse Eisenberg's character gets activated because secretly the entire time he's been a CIA super spy. A killing machine, a John Wick of sorts. And this film is at its best when Jesse Eisenberg's character is still a very socially awkward, very shy stoner, realizing that he can kill people very easily. There's a lot of comedy to be derived from that situation as he's kind of freaking out after all these situations happen. I never say that this film is off the rails, but it does get less interesting over time. There's some well-orchestrated action sequences in this film. There's a couple one-shot takes that remind me of The Raid quite a bit. It's not as good as The Raid, but it reminds me of The Raid. But the reason the intrigue goes down is because the character becomes more and more of a badass, and when that happens, he becomes less interesting. He's really interesting in the early goings when he doesn't quite know what's happening. Topher Grace is the main bad guy in this film, and he's pretty good at being dickish. Reminds me of his character in Traffic. Walton Goggins plays one of Topher Grace's goons. His name is Laugher, and Walton Goggins does more with the word laugher and 4 or 5 lines of dialogue total than most actors can do with an entire script. There are reasons they keep putting this guy in movies. He's so great. Even here in a movie that overall is entertaining, not great, but I was entertained. I had a good time. The Vast of Night is a strong feature debut by director Andrew Patterson. It stars Sierra McCormick and Jake Horovitz. They play a couple of young people in a small town. He is the town's big radio star. She is the kid's sister type. They're not related, but she plays kind of the kid's sister type who has just gotten her first tape recorder, and she has asked him to show her how it works. And while she's at her job being a telephone operator, I should mention this movie takes place in the 1950s. That's why she's a telephone operator. And he's at his job at the radio station. She hears a strange noise coming through the telephone lines. And they begin to investigate what this sound is. And as they dig deeper and deeper, they start to hear creepier and creepier stories of the paranormal that might be taking over this town. This is a shoestring budget film. It is very low budget. But what they didn't have in money, they had in inventiveness. The first 45 minutes or so of this film take place completely in real time. It is shot in a series of long takes. You get them walking through this basketball game, you get them walking down streets. They're very long takes. And the dialogue is very snappy and fast-paced. They probably go through 400,000 pages of dialogue in that 45 minutes, or at least it seems like that much. They talk very quickly. But it gets you in the mindset of those 1950 early talkies, which have this madcap pace that audiences now aren't really used to. It's very fast, and the fact that the shots linger for a very long time makes it seem even more fast. Sierra McCormick has an uninterrupted take in this movie that lasts upwards of 9 minutes. It's just her sitting at a phone console patching phone calls together, and it's riveting. There's a sequence in one continuous take that leaves her job at the phone company and goes all the way through the city, through the basketball game, up through the crowd, out a window, and to the radio station where he works. The fact that they were able to do any of this on the budget they had is incredible. The beginning of this film starts with a shot of a television screen, a 1950s television screen in black and white, introducing the opening credits of the film. And it's done in a Twilight Zone-esque way that gets the audience in a mindset that this is going to be a Twilight Zone, Outer Limits type of film. I'd say that the film's only flaw is that they flash back to that several times throughout the film's runtime. I think the opening shot gets us there, and by flashing back, it takes us away from what the characters are doing on screen. The film had me in its grasp and was doing things to take me out of it. It only does it once or twice, but it is noticeable that it changed the way my mind was thinking about the film. But having said that, the performances are great. The movie is beautifully shot. It has a very cool look. I like the color grading in the film. The blacks are almost blue at times, and the whites are very brown. It has that kind of sepia tone going for it. I was entertained. I never checked my watch. I never thought, when is this movie going to be over? It flows really well. I dug it. It's getting rave reviews online, so I'm not the first one to say this, but it's on Amazon Prime right now. Amazon bought it after a film festival. Check it out. It's impressive for a debut film. Godzilla King of the Monsters is directed by Michael Dougherty. He directed a horror movie I really like called Trick or Treat. It's a movie that's gained a cult-like audience on home video. I really dig that film, so I was looking forward to see what he did here. And what he did here, visually, is very good. There are a lot of cool camera shots in this movie, very wide shots of monster carnage, which are very artistic and beautiful in a way. But from a character standpoint, if these characters weren't played by famous character actors, none of them would stand out. They are the character types that you've come to know and love from Roland Emmerich movies. Nothing challenges the status quo. It's all well acted. They're doing their best with what they have, but this is not a movie for character development. This is a movie to see monsters fighting each other. And the destruction is wonderful. It was fun, mindless escapism, and I think we all need that right now. So thanks, Michael Dougherty.